Hello everyone, Zaida Williams here. Looking forward to another challenging, exciting, never dull day of subbing. But first, I want to describe my day yesterday. It was really tough. But I felt successful at the end. I did. And I wonder, what's been your toughest day and how did you survive it? Because from the get-go, I knew it was going to be a battle of survival. The first thing when I walked in the door, the security guard said they were terrible yesterday for the sub. The classroom was a disaster. It was a wreck, so I knew that they had had a terrible day with the sub. I had to pick up the students from the cafeteria, so I started to get to know students sitting at the table right away. I got to know about 4 of the students to try to hone in on who might be a leader for me and a helper. Got to know about 4 students' names. Unfortunately, one of those students turned out to be a major behavior problem. More about that later. So I told the students, listen, today you are going to have a good day. I heard you had a terrible day with the sub yesterday. Wow, I'm really disappointed. 3rd grade? So let's have a great day today. Let's make it a great day. So I tried to start off on a positive note while letting them know that I heard their behavior was not acceptable. The first problem I really had with this class was that they couldn't line up. They moved down the hall like a swarm of angry bees. Now there was a green line, a striped kind of a center tile, so the best that I could accomplish all day was to get students to stand on that green tiled part and make sure every student was on the green tiled part of the floor before we moved to the next hallway or the next special or whatever, or recess or whatever we were going to. That green tile really did help me yesterday, but I wouldn't call it a line. And other teachers look at you like, what's wrong with your class? And oh boy, it's tough. So we got to the classroom and I gathered all the kids on the rug and I said, students, do you think I have to earn my paycheck subbing? And they said, no. I said, no, of course I have to earn my paycheck subbing. Well, you're going to have to earn recess from me today. Now you're going to earn it letter by letter. Now sitting quietly on the rug this morning and having this meeting, that can earn you an R. Later, when you go to library, which actually we have first thing this morning, you can earn an E. You have music today, you can earn a C. You've got to earn all the letters to have recess today. Now in the back of my mind, of course, I'm thinking, I hope they earn recess. If not, I'm stuck indoors with them. So the first thing we did, well no, back up. Here's the first thing. Even while I was gathering the kids on the rug, there were 2 older students outside my door that were picking a fight with 2 of my, 3rd graders. So they were all kind of by the door. They were not on the carpet. So luckily the principal came by and I said, those 2 students are picking fights. They all need to go. I try to give students chances, but by eliminating problems right away, you can have a successful day. So he took the 2 students out. He also pointed out, and they were girls, they were all girls, but then he pointed out 2 boys. He said I might take those later, those 2 boys, because they usually are a behavior problem. So I said, oh, okay, well, thank you. So the reason I actually got through this day was because of the team effort involving several people, the principal, the librarian, the music teacher, and I'll explain about that in a minute. So we march off to library, and my friend Grandma Carol is the library substitute. Whole nother story. They don't have enough budget for a permanent librarian. And in fact, libraries aren't what they were when we were kids, at least not in my school district. Usually you can't check out books. Students expect to be entertained or taught something, which is kind of hard for Grandma Carol because she's a sub. She's not a teacher per se. And she's ready to quit her job over the 7th and 8th graders. Another story. But she does such a wonderful job, K through 6. She just feels very comfortable with that. And she has this very strong African American disciplinary style that I have learned so much from, and I would love to videotape her one day, actually. So the two boys that the principal had said were going to be a behavior problem were a behavior problem in the library. They were kind of wandering around. Now, in these inner city schools or these urban school districts, it's important to be extremely tight and extremely structured. It works with the students a lot of the times, especially in a public place like the cafeteria or the library. So I went to the principal's office. Now, I'm not even required to stay in the library during special, but I did. Went to the principal's office. I said, you might want to come get those two. And he didn't right away, but later he did. So then the next thing we had about an hour of working on packets. Now, when you have a tough class, an hour of working on packets can look, or an hour and a half, can look like a really long time. I had one student that just couldn't sit. I had at least one student that couldn't sit in his desk. So he became my helper. The only problem with leaders and helpers is that some are helping because they truly have some leadership ability, and some helpers just want to get out of doing work, and their help ends up becoming not very helpful. But anyway, this did work with this child, let's call him Alberto, for quite a long time. He sat at the teacher's desk and he sharpened pencils, and he earned a starburst from me. They're not allowed to use a pencil sharpener. Everybody wants to use it, so I put him in charge of the pencil sharpener. Then I had another leader passing out packets. I had a leader passing out starbursts when students had 2 pages of their packets done. Later, I had a leader passing out stickers, putting stickers on packets that were done. I went around and checked all of them, did attendance, and then I said, if you're done, you can do coloring, and I had someone in charge of coloring. So and the principal did stop in, and the special ed teacher, and noticed that the kids were working, and they were very happy with that. I had 2 children, the two that were getting in fist fights, pulled out for special ed. But I had a sneaky suspicion that at least 5 other students had developmental delay issues, ADHD issues, and needed support that they weren't getting, and the teacher needed help that the teacher wasn't getting. Very difficult when you have students who can't sit, focus, or even sometimes understand the work in front of them. So what I did, one other kind of extra activity I did, was I told students that they could create a center. So they could go to the library corner, they could play with the bingo there. I don't know if that was allowed. They could pull out a book and read it. And I bring a couple of my own activities. Like I had a puzzle and a dot-to-dot book or whatever. So I had some kids working in a center, some students working on their packets. That worked well. I conferred with a music teacher about music and said to the students, you're going to be earning an E from the music teacher. He's going to let me know if you earned that E, and you will not get recess unless you earn all of your letters. Now this worked for me all the way up to lunch. Recess was after lunch, and then I still had to get through the afternoon. So that'll be the subject of another video because I'm running out of time here. But we played Silent Ball and Heads Up 7 Up. So I'll tell you more about that later. Bye-bye.